Weight Watchers, I literally had a camera phobia. Using the Pro Points plan was very liberating. And eating well has given me loads more energy. So now I've lost weight and gained confidence. I've gone from no cameras to lights, cameras, action.
Join a Weight Watchers meeting for just £1. Go to weightwatchers.co.uk to find your nearest meeting. There are some spots we love and others we'd like to see fade. Garnier takes care of you with new Dark Spot Corrector. With our highest concentration of pure vitamin C. Applied daily all over the face, it targets the appearance of dark spots, imperfections and uneven skin tone. 73% of women saw visible results. See spots fade with new Garnier Dark Spot Corrector. Who takes care of me?
Garnier.
Earl's been online dating. Look at his matches.
Oh, just the one?
There are hundreds. I don't know how he's going to choose.
At least here at Wonga, we give you all the information you need to decide whether we're right for you.
That's right, Joyce. At Wonga.com, we put you in control. Using our online sliders, you decide how much you want to borrow and for how long, and we tell you how much it'll cost.
Where did these come from?
I think Earl's worked out you're the one for him.
No chance.
Wonga.com, straight talking money.
Next month, people all over the country will stop smoking for 28 days. It's called Stoptober, and anyone can give it a go. There's loads of free support to help you stay on track. Plus, if you go 28 days without a cigarette, you're 5 times more likely to stop for good. Join the 28-day challenge. Search Stoptober online.
Piers Morgan's life stories begins with a true icon of British film and television.
He's a huge movie star. I think he's iconic.
A genuine living legend.
He's one of the all-time greats.
Let him tell you his story in his own words. The new series of Piers Morgan's life stories starts with Sir Roger Moore, Friday at 9 on ITV1.
The triumphant Julian Clary will be on Loose Women, and notice there's no Denise Welsh. That's at 12:30. But now, though, it's This Morning.
Feel closer this summer. Nivea sponsors This Morning.
Welcome to the show. Coming up, obsessed with tanning and now charged with child abuse, we speak to the infamous tanning mom. Her headline shocked the world earlier this year when it was alleged she let her 5-year-old daughter burn on a sunbed. She's live from New York.
And much closer to home, celebrations continue for Britain's Olympic and Paralympic athletes of London 2012. Some fantastic scenes there as London came alive in celebrating their achievements.
And today we're extremely proud to welcome the man dubbed the fastest amputee on Earth. Johnny Peacock's here to relive his Paralympic record-breaking moment.
And on to a party of a very different kind now. Last night, the great and good of Britain's showbiz set were out for the annual TV Choice Awards.
Yeah, well done to Jeremy Kyle.
Well done.
The team that they've got working on that show. They picked up the Best Daytime Programme Award, so many congratulations to them.
And also well done to the team at Celebrity Juice, who picked up an award last night as well. Our Alison Hammond was there, and you can see more from behind the scenes a little bit later on. But also, a big congratulations to my friends, Jen and James Kemp Potter. They're in hospital right now. Yesterday, Jen gave birth at 5:18 to a little girl called Isla. She was 6 days early. Jen was huge last time I saw her, so well done you. Thank you lots. Mwah.
Congratulations to all of you. Right, here is your showbiz lineup today.
Oh, I love it! You've won an award!
Yeah! Shut up!
You want babies? I want babies. Little baby puppies.
Yes.
And with details of how you can take part of the next 2 hours, it's Stephen.
Good morning to you. Now, we definitely want your input today, and we're starting with our very own Denise Robinson, who has made headlines today saying career women who have a compulsion to juggle a demanding job whilst being a domestic goddess are putting a strain on their marriages. So what do you think? Is Denise right? Are women putting far too much pressure on themselves to deliver? Does this cause problems? And it's been reported X Factor judge Gary Barlow will ban his contestant from using mobile phones during the show to prevent them reading negative comments about themselves on social networking sites. But is Gary onto something here? Should the use of Twitter or Facebook be restricted for today's youth? Or is it all a little too late? Get in touch. You can email this morning, itv.com, or post your message on Facebook. But make sure we get all the comments by midday. We'll see you back in the hub a bit later.
It just all sounds very old, doesn't it? They're saying, right, OK, well, should we ban Twitter and Facebook for today's youth? It's like saying, well, rock and roll is bad for them.
No, it is. That's so true.
You
That's
can't
so
think
right.
That's evolution. It's the way it is. That's the world. I wonder whether Gary saying that to his contestants puts them at any sort of a disadvantage.
I think so, because the
you
amount
can't
of
then
votes...
say, vote for me.
Totally. Yeah, well, we'll talk about this in a minute. I've got my opinions on this, and I'm sure you have. Also on the show, we've got a sexy Baroque look at fashion, and Mark Sargent is bringing a family favourite to the table too.
So here's how it's all going to play out today.
Right, so let's take a look at the headlines today. That's with Alison Phillips and Nick Ferrari. Welcome to both of you. Let's start with the story. It didn't make it into today's papers. This happened just before midnight last night. An absolute tragedy. 3 people have been killed and others seriously injured in a coach crash in Surrey. The vehicle overturned after hitting a tree on an embankment on the northbound side of the A3 near High Head. The passengers were thought to be returning from a festival on the Isle of Wight, making their way back up to Merseyside. 3 people were declared dead at the scene. A 4th passenger was airlifted to Southampton General Hospital with life-changing injuries. Incredibly sad story.
And there are even more with injuries as well. And as we're sitting here, the police are going about their duties of informing the next of kin about this terrible tragedy. As yet, the cause is unknown. But doesn't it seem there's been a spate of horrific stories just lately? Now, we're both in the news business, and we know it just makes you give thanks for the Olympics, doesn't it? Because at least we've had something to hold on to with all these tragedies that have played out.
That's incredible.
Yeah, I mean, there's not, as you say, there's not very much we can say here because once again,
the police are still investigating anyway, Phil.
It's just so sad when they've obviously had a fantastic weekend. They've really been great. And as with all these summer tragedies, they're at a point where people have been having a great time and it all goes so horribly wrong.
Well, our thoughts with the families, obviously, this morning. Let's move on to something a little lighter here. And this is the end of our summer of sport, a summer of a feel-good summer. Showing our face to the world. This is what we can do. 1 million people took to the streets of London to cheer the British heroes of the Summer Games.
It was absolutely brilliant yesterday, wasn't it? It just, when you just thought that feel-good feeling couldn't get any greater, then to have everybody, it was just wonderful.
I'm just not ready for it to end yet.
That's the only sad part.
You're not
It's all over.
You're not the only one, because I think some newspapers are reporting a 20% lift in circulation, particularly on the days that British athletes did particularly massive hike in sales. So no surprise that all of the front pages, they're all souvenir editions.
That's right.
They're all wraparounds. Nobody wants them to go less to go than those editors. They want them to stay forever. But I'm afraid it is over. And yet again, you have to say, Boris rather stole the political limelight from
Well, didn't he just? Wow. Let's have a listen to part of Boris's speech yesterday.
You routed the doubters and you scattered the gloomsters, and for the first time in living memory, you caused tube train passengers to break into spontaneous conversation with their neighbours. Speaking as a spectator, you produced such paroxysms of tears and joy on the sofas of Britain that you probably not only inspired a generation, but helped to create one as well. And propelled... I can get away with that.
Boris, of course, being the Mayor of London, so if you were out of London, then you wouldn't know very much, unless you maybe watched his appearances on Have I Got News for You or something like that, wouldn't maybe know too much about Boris Johnson.
No.
But are the Conservative Party, do you think, going to use what is seems to be, he's the only person that's been cheered. A lot of people went to the Olympics and got booed, a lot of politicians got booed. And this guy's got cheered. Can they use him?
Well, you've just put your finger on it.
I don't think David Cameron wants to be using him. I mean, did you see him, like, laughing sort of rather nervously in the background, a little
There's
too
not
hard?
many that can sort of blend politics and comedy and likeability,
and
is
say
there,
what
to
he
be
likes.
honest?
He can actually diss Londoners by saying, because we don't talk to each other on tubes, it's absolutely right, and we all just laugh at that. He can do jokes. He's cheered by everybody as he arrives. As you rightly say, this is the key. The Chancellor, the Prime Minister, the Home Secretary, they've all been heckled every time Boris stands up. And with that hair, he looks like the naughty boy who's been playing at the back of the class, doesn't he? He just gets
brilliant orator, very funny, but also incredibly smart.
Yeah.
You would wonder what his future would be.
And even hanging on a zip wire. Do you remember he got stuck on a zip wire?
Even he made that. He made it work.
Faultless. But I mean, as I think, is it Nick Robinson has said? Some political commentator said, I remember laughing at him when I was at Cambridge with him. I laughed at the idea that he'd ever become an MP. I laughed at the idea he'd ever be Mayor of London. Prime Minister, I've stopped laughing.
I know, exactly.
The only slight issue is you do have to think that's all very well if you have this veneer of being a jolly good chap, but we then need to perhaps drill down a little bit further into what he really believes in.
He's a good
before we all get carried away in the Boris machine.
No, absolutely.
I think his policies have a lot to commend them, but we won't take up that time. We could fight on that for ages, perhaps.
Andy Murray.
Oh, that was brilliant. That's fantastic.
It's just so wonderful, isn't it? Just like,
that's brilliant.
Every day there's a celebration.
And he's worked so hard for so long, hasn't he, to get there? And people, I think, were beginning to wonder if it was ever going to happen.
5 hours,
fabulous.
though.
I know.
That's stamina.
5 hours.
Yeah.
And he was 2 sets up. It looked all good, and then that other guy fought back. But what about when Sportsman of the Year comes round? Think of this. Do you know there could be people who won double Olympic gold who won't even get in the top 10?
Yes.
Where are you? Because Bradley Wiggins, obviously Mo Farah, who you had in. I mean, all these people.
They need to change the rules
Paralympians.
this year, don't they?
You're absolutely. I do apologise. Paralympians, of course. You've got Johnny coming on. Where's it all going to end?
Well, I wouldn't want to be on that panel deciding who was on the short list to be.
But what has Lendl brought to Murray's game? You can see, can't you?
Steeliness that Lendl had.
We got so pleased.
Well, he kissed the trophy as he became the first Brit since Fred Perry in 1936 to win a Grand Slam singles title. Absolutely fantastic work for him. And of course, as we saying, we've got to point this out now that and we have said this on here before, that he suddenly becomes British because he's won. And then if he doesn't win at Wimbledon, he's Scottish. And we do tend to do it, and we apologise for doing that. But there we go. We love a bit of success.
Interesting today. We were flicking through the papers. Actually, how it's the 11th anniversary of September the 11th today, and how little it has been reported. Tiny bit in the paper today, and this was more about the compensation for rescue workers who've got cancer through breathing the toxic dust, that they are finally going to be compensated. So some good news. Some claim from an official 1.75 billion fund to compensate the victims.
It's not all forgotten, because in fact I'm going from here to BGC Partners, which is one of the companies that was, as Cantor Fitzgerald was wiped out, there's a charity day. Gary Lineker's already there, Joan Collins is there. So they raised tens of millions of pounds, and it is for the families, and it's also for charities here in Britain, such as Leukemia and others. But you are right, over here, it seems it slipped out of consciousness. Over there, I think it's a scandal. It's taken 11. Of course, it's particularly these first
11 years,
first responders.
And 400 people have died as a result of these
when
cancers.
they responded so quickly, and yet we failed.
Put their own lives at risk.
Some quickies here. A man faces prosecution for trying to get out of jury duty by saying that he hated gays and black people. He wrote to the court saying that his extreme homophobic and racist views made him unsuitable as a juror, and he believed it would be a serious injustice to select me for jury service. I hold extreme prejudices against homosexuals, black or foreign people, and couldn't possibly be impartial if either appeared in court.
A very curious. I mean, you do wonder whether he's maybe just making that, because generally you'd think somebody who is that sort of bigoted would perhaps want to be in a position where they could be on a jury. I just think there's possibly more to this than meets the eye.
So what? You doubt that
he? Because I think
he just didn't want to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
well, it's interesting. If he's messing about, He faces a charge of perverting the course of justice. If he's done it to get off jury, and you can get life for perverting the course of justice. So if this guy thinks he's been clever by pretending he's a racist and he's not, then they come after him. He's in big trouble.
Thing to pretend
I know, what an
just about the most despicable thing
however,
you can think
if you knew somebody was going forward to be on a jury and you suspected them of being homophobic and racist, and they were going to go on case, you would feel that you should
tell somebody.
Say something.
Yeah.
So maybe he's. I mean, I can't figure it out.
No,
I don't know which way to go on it.
But he got out of it, though, didn't he?
He's out of it,
He did, but I think that I read that they're going to look at him a bit more closely, just in case.
So he's in trouble if he's lied.
Career women who have a compulsion to juggle, demanding job of being a domestic goddess, are putting a strain on their marriages, says Denise Robertson. Denise is here today. We'll be chatting about this in The Hub. What are your views?
I don't have a compulsion to juggle, but I think that perhaps when you've got children and you work, I think I'm not so keen on the word juggling. I thought it was like muddling is tends to what we do. You sort of muddle through rather than... And it's very, very difficult if you're working and you've got children, because you're trying to sort of do everything, but... I think it's kind of quite hard that a lot of the blame gets laid at women, that it's not only are we trying to do all this, but then we're also alienating our husbands by doing it.
It's not easy, but I think the way that I do it is I just sort of try and prioritise.
Yes.
And I very carefully look at things, and if it feels like work's taking over or whatever it is, and I pull back. So I kind of just...
Not for the first time. Denise is absolutely right, isn't she? Because she says there's an inbuilt compulsion in some women to remain domestic goddesses. So whether you want to call it juggling or muddling or whatever, there does... Whereas blokes don't care.
I get the dishwasher emptied and put the bins out, which somebody needs to do.
When I got divorced and my two sons stayed, we didn't care if there was a pile of dishes that never got washed. It really didn't matter. But if it had been a woman, she'd be, oh, my God, the friends might come. Like we gave a damn.
But what happens when you needed a plate to eat your next
meal? Go and buy a few more. Just go and buy another one.
It's not a compulsion.
Denise is right.
No, it's...
Very finally here, this is a man I think is lucky to be alive today. Barack Obama got an election lift from this excited pizza restaurant boss. The president was out campaigning in the key state of Florida when he dropped in on Scott Van Duzer. This is the owner of the Big Apple Pizza in Fort Pierce. So delighted he hoisted him into the air for a bear hug. The president then said, this guy's got a big heart along with his big pecs. That is... we just love his little shoes down the bottom of here, just little the president's little dangling feet.
Sweet.
And he's not a short guy, so that's quite a...
No,
I prefer John Prescott's way, which is to thump them. I much rather the way we interact with voters.
Thank you both very much.
Thank you.
Stephen, in the Hub, what have you got?
Well, loads of you are loving Boris. I'm not surprised, to be honest. Sam Gordon here still laughing at Boris's speech. It was brilliant. And also lots of you at home loving Andy Murray. We've got Hannah Batten. Congratulations, Andy. After Djokovic's outburst, throwing his racket and walloping the ground, there was only one person that deserved to win. Also, Stefan Beacham. She says, amazing, Andy. I was so proud of you last night. In fact, I was late for work because of you. And a few complaints, however. Cheryl McPhail says, this is ridiculous. Andy Murray is Scottish, but as soon as he wins, he's British again. What a joke. Keep all your comments coming in, please.
Oh, sorry. Thank you very much, Stephen. Right, the fastest Paralympian on Earth, Johnny Peacock, is here after the break.
Feel closer this summer. Nivea sponsors This Morning.
The Bath Store Autumn Sale is now on. With hundreds of bathroom offers you've simply got to see. So don't just sit there.
We're back, over a year later, talking to people who've switched to Colgate Sensitive Pro Relief. So, remember this?
Yes. As soon as I've used it, the relief's immediate.
No sharp pain.
Colgate Sensitive Pro Relief has a pro-argin formula that repairs open channels to the nerve to prevent pain from coming back.
I've been using it now for a few years, so... Still working. Just no pain at all.
Colgate Sensitive Pro Relief. Instant relief and long-lasting protection. And now new enamel repair prevents sensitivity by repairing enamel.
He's not just bringing you the latest news. It's a sign of love. Love him back with new Caesar Lightly Grilled. 3 delicious recipes with tender, lightly grilled pieces and all the goodness he needs every day. Caesar, love them back.
We'd love to tell you to be an individual or be different.
we'd love to whisper, stand out, or be unique. But that's just not us, I'm afraid. We are Tesco Mobile, and we say...
Be the same as everyone else.
Join forces and get free perks on your family's mobile contracts.
New family perks with 2 or more contracts from Tesco Mobile. Every little helps.
Truvia scrumptious, it's truly, truly scrumptious. Scrumptious like a cherry peach parfait. With your coffee, in tea or on a strawberry. Honest Truvia, you're the answer to my wishes. From a leaf grown naturally, without a single calorie. Honest Truvia, it's true.
It's the Battle of the Breakfasts, brought to you by Nestle Cereals. Blueberry Alert, it's Muffin the Mighty, and Superboy Shreddies. This looks interesting. Here are the numbers. Calories, sugar, fat, sat fat, salt. How will your breakfast match up? For more nutrition info, go to battleofthebreakfasts.co.uk.
The Debenhams new season event. Life made fabulous with up to 25% off throughout the store and online. Now on, end Sunday.
Need a car? Need a job? Need a flat? Need to sell stuff? Get it all on Gumtree.
How do you milk an almond? Feed your curiosity. Enjoy plant power with Ulpro.
Transform the look of your hair with new Elvive Extraordinary Oil from L'Oreal. Ultra versatile, non-greasy. Before shampooing, it melts onto the hair fibre. Use before blow drying or as a finishing touch. Hair looks sumptuously smooth, silky, breathtaking. New Elvive Extraordinary Oil from L'Oreal Paris.
You talk too much. They'll never give up. The whole country's after you.
New drama, Mrs. Biggs continues. Wednesday at 9 on ITV1.
Feel closer this summer. Nivea sponsors This Morning.
Welcome back. Last week, 19-year-old Johnny Peacock amazed the world, upstaging Oscar Pistorius in the biggest race of the Paralympics to claim the 100-metre crown.
It was also the biggest race of his life and one watched by a stadium crowd of 80,000 people.
Extraordinary tension around this stadium. The start vital, and Peacock gets a good one. He's ahead of Pistorius. Brown's trying to go with him. Peacock's in front. Pistorius starting to recover, but it's going to be Peacock. Peacock takes the gold for Great Britain. Richard Brown takes the silver for the United States. Peacock wins in a time of 10.9 seconds. All the talking is over, and Peacock for Great Britain is the 100 metres gold medalist.
Round of applause!
Well done, well done, well done. Amazing. I mean, when you watch that back, does that feel real?
Yeah, I was actually a little bit ashamed then. I started to rock at the end. I lost a bit of top speed, so I haven't had many times to watch it back.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is still a dream for me.
We apologise to any lip readers who might have been watching that.
As you can tell, I was probably a little bit excited as I crossed the line.
Just a bit.
As
you're getting ready and you're on the starting blocks, so what goes through an Olympian's mind at that moment?
For me, I was actually kind of just thinking about how amazing the crowd were. Yeah, I was still kind of like inspired for me, like of how they were getting behind everyone, and they started to chant my name, which is something I've never ever heard before.
Did you have to quieten them down though?
Yeah, I did at one point. It just came to me, but because obviously we need to be really quiet for the set, and I didn't want to, disrupt any of the other competitors on the lineup.
Well, David Weir had just done the 800 metres beforehand, hadn't he, as well?
Yeah.
So the crowd were explosive after that.
Going out there, I knew the crowd were going to be electric. David Weir going out, I knew he was going to win, and I was going to go out, and then there's going to be a lot of expectation to obviously bring back a second gold in a couple of minutes.
Well, you did it, and it was an amazing moment for everybody watching, but also, I imagine, an incredible moment for your mum. Because when you were doing your lap of honour, she was the first person you were trying to find in the crowd.
I was searching for her. I didn't know where she was. I knew that she was... I'd been told that she was around the long jump pit, but I didn't know if she'd managed to like get some different seats or get closer to the actual 100-metre straight. So as soon as I finished, I was searching for her.
Trying to find her.
Yeah, and I saw my old previous coach, Hayley Ginn, and I gave her a big hug and I said, "Do you know where my mum is?" And she said, "Yeah, she's just down there, go find her."
Oh.
And eventually I saw like my whole family screaming and going crazy, so I ran up to them all, gave them a big hug, and of course my mum was practically in tears, so...
I bet she was.
Yeah.
Because is it true, did she see a psychic a few years ago?
Yeah, she tells me she went to go see a psychic, and she come back to me and she said, she said something about silver. She did London 2012 and she said she saw silver. She didn't tell me the truth, is that she actually saw gold, and she just told me silver because she knew how I'd react. And at the time I was like amazed. I was like, no way, this is the time I'm running like, I think 12.5 seconds for 100 metres, and she's told me that I can go and, compete with the best of them like Oscar and come second. So yeah, I didn't believe it at the time, but as time went on I thought,
absolutely.
I don't want to get silver, I want to get gold.
What did Oscar say to you? Because he took you aside, didn't he?
Yeah, just after the time came up on the board, because I crossed the line and I thought I've won, and then for a second I thought, wait, let me just make sure here, because I was just absolutely overwhelmed and I didn't want to get it wrong. And then it came up on the board and Oscar was there and I just gave him the biggest hug. And I can't remember exactly what he said because it's all a blur, but he said something along the lines of, I told you you'd do it. He's been completely behind me.
And had he told you in the past that you could do it?
Yeah, he said to me, in my heats actually, he said, "Do you mind if I pray for you?" Just when we were in the final call downstairs underneath the stadium. He just said, "Can I pray for you?" I was like, "Yeah, of course." And he said something like in South Africa and muttered something, and then said, "Go out there in front of your home country and, be a hero to them."
Which is funny because that's sort of at odds. You say that he's a fabulous guy and a massive support, and you couldn't praise him any higher. Yeah. Yet with that moment with Alan Oliveira, where he criticised the length of his blades, and everyone's going, "Oh, he just seems like such a sore loser."
Yeah, I mean, he just timed his comments wrong. I think that's obviously what they said. But I can't speak for Oscar of how he felt, but obviously he's just gutted to lose the 200. He trains as hard as everyone else.
Yeah.
But it's a really testament for Paralympic sport of how competitive it comes across that if he trains for the 400.
You brought the blades with you.
Your
blade
this
here,
is my blade.
So is this the one?
This is my only one. This is the one I run on. Yeah, so I don't know if you can have a
Can I have a look?
feel. Yeah.
And so,
gosh, they're really lightweight, aren't they?
You can try and bend it if you want to try and bend it.
Oh, I see. So
it might be a bit meant to be.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah, people are expecting to like kind of compress, and it's
they really
a lot harder than you think.
And is it hard because obviously with your other leg to keep both when you're running to get the rhythm right? Because does this feel very different to run on?
Yeah, it's always trying to get that up to standard with the good side. To be honest, my sprints coach Dan Path, who I've been working with for the last year, has really pushed that across, and I drilled that into my mind that I really need to start focusing on putting power through the right leg, which is what we've worked on this year, and it seems to work.
So with this discussion over the length of blades, and I mean, this is very closely and carefully regulated, isn't it? What you can have, what the length has to be.
Yeah, I mean, the IPC have their rules, and everyone gets measured before you go out there. But who knows? I don't know enough about it. I'm not a double leg amp, so I've never had to deal with this kind of thing before.
Sure.
Yeah. I just go out and train. And in all honesty, I think people are starting to get hooked up on the blades, and I'd like to say that the reason I won the 100 metres is because of the fantastic support group that I've got around me.
Yeah. The
coach that's, the first coach in the world to ever go and have an Olympian 100 metre and a Paralympic 100 metre gold medalist, both of which has got gold world records. So it's a true testament to the coach that he is, the support network that I've got. And, I train my socks off, and I know that Oscar trains his heart out to train for that 400 metres.
Well, your story is amazing because you were only, I think, were you 5 when you were rushed into hospital with meningitis?
Yeah, I was 5 years old.
We're going to discuss the awareness of meningitis a little bit later with Dr. Chris. But so rush into hospital, touch and go for 48 hours. Your mum was told you might have to say goodbye here, and you pulled through. And then when you were well enough, and obviously lost that part of your leg, when you were well enough to go back to school, you were straight back into it. There doesn't seem to have been a time when you were saying, "Why me?"
No, I try not to look at it like that. I don't know, I was 5 years old. I just wanted to get back out there and be with my mates, to be honest. As soon as they slapped their leg on, as soon as I was walking and I had to walk, I was just trying to run.
And back into sports days, school sports days and stuff.
Or I played school sports days. I played football matches for my primary school as well. I played football for my secondary school and rugby, football for a local side. I've always been sporting. I've always enjoyed sport, and I picked sport as one of my subjects in school as well. So it's only been a passion of mine.
So are you already looking ahead at sort of Rio and what comes next? I mean, what's the sort of plan? I mean, you're obviously going to have a bit of a break.
I'd like to have a few weeks off to recuperate and just relax a little bit.
Well, we saw how you relaxed. We saw your twit pic after you won the medal.
Talking about that.
I don't know
whether
that is this necessarily the food of an athlete?
You should have seen it the other night. We come back from, I think it was back from the opening ceremony, closing ceremony, sorry, and there was loads of us, Dave Weir, I think that was the first time we managed to get at McDonald's. Massive queue outside. We were waiting for about 20 minutes. We go there and we got to her, like, can we have 10 Big Macs, please? 10 chicken nuggets. And she was like, what? She couldn't believe how much we wanted. We each had about 4 different, 4 burgers.
There are, of course, many other fast food outlets. They could have gone for a Burger King or a KFC, but that's what they chose to do. How was yesterday? Was it great in London yesterday?
Yesterday was absolutely amazing.
I bet it was.
I've just been addicted to crowds since I've been inside that stadium.
I know what you're going to do.
Exactly. I got home that night and I'm thinking, when's it ever going to get better than this? And it was just absolutely amazing. The reception that we got, we expected it to kind of start to drop after 10 minutes, but it just got thicker, and the depth in support out there was absolutely crazy. It was just so deep in support.
You've made our summer.
What you and all the other Olympians have done, we couldn't possibly say thank you enough for putting into words. It has been absolutely magical, and thank you very much. Let's have a look at that.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you to everyone at home, everyone who came and supported me, because seriously, I think that in my eyes, all the volunteers in the crowd actually made the games. All the athletes said it. We are literally so thankful for everyone who turned out, and they made it such an enjoyable games for us as the athletes.
Thanks, Johnny.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Lovely to meet you.
Thank
right,
you.
competition time now. Have a look.
As this morning's trusted brain box, take it from me that you can be a winner. We've got £55,000 to give away. So get ready to be a competitions connoisseur and cast your eye over some previous winners.
Well, I could win it. Anyone can win it. It's easy to do. You either phone in, text in, or go online. It's just as easy as that.
Really lucky, like 1 in a million. All these people had entered it and we won it, and it was just brilliant.
1, 2, 1, 2. See, it really could be you. For your chance to win £55,000 in tax-free cash, all you've got to do is answer this question correctly. Just testing the microphone. Complete the name of this ITV television series. You've been A, gamed, B, framed, C, named. Call 090 41 61 99 99. Calls cost no more than £1.54 from BT landlines. Other networks may be higher and mobiles considerably more. Text your answer A, B or C to 63335. Text costs £1.50 plus 1 standard network rate message. You can also enter for free at itv.com. Entrants must be 18 or over. Entries made after lines close at 5 p.m. on Sunday the 23rd of September will not be counted but may still be charged. Best of luck.
Yeah, the best of luck. It's one of the liveliest award ceremonies of the year, and last night the winners and losers of the TV Choice Awards partied into the small hours.
Never one to let her invite go unused. Alison Hammond was there to ensure she captured the goings-on firsthand, and once again, she didn't disappoint.
I'm here at the Dorchester Hotel for the TV Choice Awards. I've got my handbag. Let me just check I've got everything. Let's have a look. I've got my tissues for the sad losers, bless them. I've got some champagne to ply the good-looking blokes with. What else have I got? What's this? What is this bag? It's absolutely stuffed. I've got 50 Shades of Grey. That's for later after the show. And I've got, Philip Schofield. I only need 1 shade of grey. Mwah. So, I've got everything. All I need now is some fabulous celebrities. You can let them in now. Let's go. Ladies and gentlemen, we're now in the presence of a true movie star, Mr. Keith Lemon.
How do?
Can I just ask, do you still talk to the likes of me?
You can ask anything. Alison, ask anything. Anything you want.
Well, I will if I can squeeze a word in edgewise. Oh, look, there's Ant and Dec. They let me ask a question. Bearing in mind who won Britain's Got Talent, don't you feel all that light entertainment has gone to the dogs? That's been funny.
All right, who writes this stuff?
What's this I hear about Simon Cowell's private jet? Is it true?
Yeah, I mean, we had no other way of getting to America. I didn't want to go in the hold, so Simon Cowell kindly gave us a lift to America in his private jet.
We've never been invited on the jet. I want to go on the jet. I want to go on the jet.
Did you talk to him all the way there?
Nearly all the way. I didn't want to bug him.
Pudsey, are you enjoying today? From Pudsey to Sudsey, it's time to talk soap. And in the fashion stakes, it isn't just the ladies showing a bit of flesh. There's nothing going on underneath that
Well,
kilt.
I like to think there is, but...
Is EastEnders going to win tonight?
Absolutely. I already know. I slept with the judge, he knows. He told me.
Stiff competition. You guys must be over the moon for Shane up for an award. See what I did there?
Over the moon.
See what I did?
Yeah, it's a clever play on words.
I know.
And from a clever play on words to searching for the right word.
I'm really... What's the word I'm looking for?
Drunk.
Competitive.
Oops, but it's a sentiment Chris Fountain agrees with.
I need to win something.
What? Hollyoaks never win. I'm not happy about it, to be honest with you.
Do you know what? I think we have too much fun. I think people must just think we have too much fun.
Do you know what I think it is?
What?
I think you're all too beautiful.
No.
You need
So
a few
it
ugly
is.
people.
Maybe we should just put
Look at
spots on.
Coronation Street in EastEnders, a few ugly people.
No, there's not.
Hang on a moment. Scrap that, because I'm about to try out for a party in EastEnders.
Lose the
Is that what
accent.
it is?
Right, so stop
I've been
talking
out
like
to
that.
visit.
Talk like that.
Talk out.
Talk like that. Start getting a bit. Leave it out.
Leave it out.
Leave it out. Get out of my pub.
What, and I'd get a job?
Get out of my pub.
Get out of my pub! Get out of my pub! Go on, get out of my pub! Get! Well, if I don't get the part in EastEnders, what about Towie? What do you think Towie's got that Made in Chelsea ain't got?
We love Made in Chelsea. We've got to be honest, because me and Chloe love drinking tea. And in Chelsea, they're quite posh. They drink out of little teacups and saucers. And in Essex, we have mugs. We're keeping it real. We still eat pie and mash. We're not out there eating foie gras and all of that.
High five for keeping it real, girls. Keep it. Don't leave your hands. And I mustn't leave the cast of hit sitcom Mrs. Brown's Boys hanging because I'm actually going to courtesy. Courtesy? Do it again. Do it again. I'm actually going to courtesy because these are BAFTA winners. Is this work or play tonight?
Both.
That's nice. And there's just time to squeeze in a bit more lemon. We're both up for an award.
Yeah, that's amazing, isn't it?
It's amazing.
We won last year, Celebrity Justice. I didn't know you could be nominated again.
Yeah.
So I'm right chuffed. It's
Well, if you get another
I'm more
one-
chuffed than Holly, who couldn't be bothered coming.
Are you on your Todd?
Yeah.
Do you want me to come round with you?
Yeah, come on stage.
All right, I'm gonna end everything now. I'm just gonna be his date. All right.
Yeah, it's my new black Holly Booby. Got bigger boobs than you.
See you later.
Good morning, and here is the TV Choice News.
Okay, first up, daytime. Won by
The Jeremy Kyle Show.
Yes, sadly, we didn't win. Can I just say, Jeremy, I'm actually really proud of you this year. You know, I'm not bitter. I'm not upset.
You were last year.
Yeah, I was, I'll be honest. But this year, I'm really, really proud of you.
Why?
But you'll always be our warm-up act. Fact.
The great thing about awards though, this is voted for by the readers. It means an awful lot.
But at the end of the day, you're holding the award and we're not.
Do you want to hold it?
Go on then, I'll have a little hot. Oh, Jez, don't even go
I didn't
there.
win the award, bye. No, you can go on then.
Congratulations, man. Keith Lemon picked up the award for Best Entertainment Show.
Ooh, yes!
But unfortunately, most of his speech was unsuitable for daytime broadcast.
Shall I leave the frame obtusely?
Yeah, off you go.
Okay.
Meanwhile, Ant and Dec collected 2 awards, the first for... I'm a celebrity getting out of here!
Thank you very much.
And of course, now you are huge down under.
All the readers of TV Choice, thank you for voting. To ITV for your continued support. To all of the celebrities that did it for, to Fatima Whitbread's Cockroach, thank you so much for...
I'm glad you finished that.
And they were so excited, they were literally dancing for joy.
Oh, yeah. Not that kind of short daytime, Alan.
To apologise. But for their next award for Best Talent Show, they thought Britain's Got Talent's Pudsey should be dancing. Oh, I love him. Yeah. And adding to their BAFTA haul were my new Bezzy mates, Mrs Brown's Boys. You've won an award! So rude! And fittingly, in this, their 40th year, Emmerdale picked up a special honour for being outstanding in their field.
We're the only ones with a gold award tonight.
Yeah, because you're outstanding, guys.
Absolutely.
And
they're outstanding.
But to what does Emmerdale owe its success?
We've got the sex of Hollyoaks, we've got the humour of Coronation Street, we've got the tragedy of EastEnders.
Corrie also picked up a gong. Best actress for...
Michelle Keegan!
Oh my God. I'm really actually shaking. I actually haven't thought of anything to say because I promise you, I really didn't think I was going to win it. Honestly, I don't even say. I couldn't walk off stage because my knees keeled under me. I can't believe it.
But the big soap success of the evening was for EastEnders, who picked up 3 for Tony Discipline as Best Newcomer.
I wish I had something funny or something clever to say, but all I can say is thank you very much.
You're welcome, Shane Ritchie was voted Best Actor, and for the grand finale of Best Soap, just in case people didn't know, who are ya?
EastEnders! Thank you to everyone who voted for us, because we really are grateful. It means a lot. Thank you. Have a good night.
OK, time to wrap it up in traditional EastEnders style. Cue the Doffs!
Is that like Cue the Dogs?
Very good. Congratulations to everyone who picked up an award last night.
Well done, well done.
Right, Dr. Chris's health alert is here right after the break.
Feel closer this summer. Nivea sponsors This Morning.
Can't explain all the feelings that you're making me feel. My heart's in overdrive and you're behind the steering wheel.
What would you do? Just for the jackpot joy of it. Start your bingo fund now. Deposit £10 and get £30 to play with at jackpotjoy.com.
Xperia S, the Sony smartphone with one-touch music sharing.
Next month, people all over the country will stop smoking for 28 days. It's called Stoptober, and anyone can give it a go. There's loads of free support to help you stay on track. Plus, if you go 28 days without a cigarette, you're 5 times more likely to stop for good. Join the 28-day challenge. Search Stoptober online.
New Lindt creation. Which will you give into? Luscious caramel? Divine hazelnut? Or velvety vanilla almond? Surrender to indulgence. New creation from Lindt.
Where's Earl? Lunch break's nearly over. Probably out buying some new gizmo. Don't worry, he's always on time. Actually, he's often back early, just like a Wonga loan.
Too right, Joyce. Take out a cash loan for up to 31 days and we make it really easy for you to pay it back early. In fact, nearly a quarter of our customers do.
Told you he'd be early. Next thing you know, he'll be on a hoverboard. Well, he won't be taking me back to the future.
Wonga.com, straight talking money.
You might be surprised to know I follow the Jenny Craig programme just like any other client. I had my meals delivered to my home and I had a chat with my consultant every week. And in just 4.5 months, I'd lost £33. But the best bit is that I've kept the weight off Thanks to Jenny Craig, I now have the knowledge to make sure I look good and feel good this year, and next year, and the year after that. Give Jenny a call right now.
Call Jenny Craig today on 0800 088 2012.
Mum? Some kitchen towels need lots of sheets to tackle tougher jobs. New Thirst Pocket Selector Size can handle even big spills. It has uniquely designed pockets. With its 50% bigger sheets, Selector Size is twice as absorbent than ordinary towels. And for smaller spills, you can even select half a sheet, so you can use less. New Thirst Pocket Selector Size, the right size for every job.
It's a blank cheque. Soldier goes on tour, he can do what he wants. And he comes home and everything's polished up and perfect, because this R&R might be his last. What goes on tour stays on tour.
Homefront, new drama, coming soon to ITV1. Feel closer this summer. Nivea sponsors This Morning.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
That was a bit short, wasn't
odd
it?
ping. Yeah. Welcome back.
In just a moment, Dr. Chris with his health alert.
First, though, competition time.
Apparently, there are still people out there who don't believe you can win with This Morning. So I've been going through the archives to prove that people really are winning all the time. And this could be your turn to get lucky with £55,000. Is it home time yet? Is it?
It's sunk in a lot more now. I mean, it's still unreal. I've got £50,000 in my ad now. I just don't know what to do.
Give it a go. You've got nothing to lose. You've got everything to gain, and you could be a winner like me.
To be in with a chance of being a winner too, just answer this £55,000 question correctly. Complete the name of this ITV television series. You've been A. Gamed, B. Framed, C. Named. Call 090 41 61 99 99. Calls cost no more than £1.54 from BT landlines. Other networks may be higher and mobiles considerably more. Text your answer A, B or C to 63335. Text costs £1.50 plus one standard network rate message. You can also enter for free at itv.com. Entrants must be 18 or over. Entries made after lines close at 5 p.m. on Sunday the 23rd of September will not be counted but may still be charged. Best of luck.
Best of luck. For many parents, sending your children off to school for the first time is unsettling at best, but no sooner have they made new friends than they've brought home one or two unwelcome visitors. And that's what your 60-second surgery is about today.
Yes, the visitors to the head.
Let's have a look.
A new school year often means new health problems for your children, and one of the most common is head lice or nits. These are tiny parasites about 1 to 3 millimeters long, which live on the scalp and feed on human blood. You don't always get an itchy head, so check your child's hair once a week, as head lice can be treated with many child-friendly products. But all the family should be treated at the same time, and ideally, all the children in the class and their families should be treated at the same time. And of course, most children will get chickenpox, a viral infection which covers the body in small blisters, which eventually turn to scabs. It can be very uncomfortable and itchy, but there are many products which help soothe the skin, though calamine lotion is a messy option. Keep your child away from school once they're diagnosed, as it's extremely contagious. Now, of course, coughs and colds are all part of growing up, but if your child has a high temperature and off their food, it may be something more serious.
Very good. That's all very useful. But it's saying that keep your child off school, because there is a school of thought that says, well, it's probably best to have it when you're younger.
Well, yes.
I'm talking about chickenpox, by the way.
Yes, and actually I agree with that. You know, you want your children getting these infectious diseases when they're young.
Yeah, they used to say, like, the chickenpox parties. One gets it, you bring them all round, and then you all get it done when they're much younger.
Yeah, but parents don't. And, you know, these childhood infectious diseases can be quite severe when adults get them. So, yes, let your children go to the parties, get infected.
Well, we were
the opposite
talking
advice for anything else, actually.
to Johnny Peacock, who was here just a moment ago, who was so amazing at the Olympics, and we were talking that he lost his bottom part of his leg to meningitis when he was 5 years old, and it's Meningitis Awareness Week, September the 17th to the 22nd. And you've got some advice.
Yeah. Well, I'm a patron of meningitis, and it's a condition where we know that nearly 70% of parents think their children are protected through the vaccination programme. Well, they're not protected against all strains of meningitis. So what they have to really learn at this time of the year, their children are going back to school, students are going back to university, it's autumn and winter time, times when meningitis can flare up, is be aware of the symptoms, know what the symptoms are, and then respond rapidly. Now, I think the most important thing I can do here is to go through the symptoms.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I've split them into two groups. First of all, dealing with babies and toddlers, because they can be quite different. So the child will have a fever, yet despite the body being hot, the cold hands and feet exist, which is quite odd. They refuse their food and they're vomiting. Floppy and unresponsive and sort of fretful. Now, they dislike being handled. The classic symptoms of meningitis are headache, fever, vomiting, and disturbed by bright light. Well, a baby can't tell you it's got a headache, so it doesn't like being moved, you see, and it may have a stiff neck. And the rash, now the rash is a late sign. You're not depending on identifying the rash.
Oh, I didn't realise that.
Yeah, you want to catch this before the rash develops. Now, if your child does develop a rash, it can be a blotchy rash. And I've created one on my hand here just with red ink and blue ink. With a normal rash, if you press a tumbler on, it blanches, it disappears. But with a meningitis rash, if we can get this...
It stays.
It stays. It doesn't blanch when you press a tumbler on. That's a late sign, but any of these symptoms, you need a rapid response. Early treatment will save lives and save limbs.
Absolutely.
Yeah? And with children and adults, symptoms slightly different. They're older. Headache, severe headache, fever, vomiting, stiff neck. When you examine a child with a stiff neck from meningitis, or even a baby, you put your hand under the head and lift them up like a stiff board. They're rigid.
Oh,
they don't like to be moved. It irritates the meninges, the lining of the brain. Drowsiness and dislike of bright lights, photophobia. That can occur in children, adults, babies and toddlers.
Okay,
all right, Chris,
very
thank you very much indeed. One of the stories it's in the Express today, actually. A simple way to beat diabetes.
Well, yes, I mean, diabetes, it's huge. It's getting bigger and bigger because we're getting fatter, we're eating bad diets, we're not exercising. 3 million have got diabetes type 2 out there, and there's a missing million walking around, and they don't know they've got it.
And that's incredibly dangerous, isn't it?
Extremely. People think, it's only blood sugar. Well, rising blood sugar causes blindness, loss of legs through gangrene, amputation, kidney failure, dialysis.
I don't frighten anyone who's got diabetes because that's extreme when it goes that far.
Well, by the time many patients are diagnosed, they're getting the complications, the eyesight is being affected. But they'll be aware. Once you've got diabetes, you're well aware of the complications if it's not controlled. So we need to get in there early. And in the headlines this week, they've highlighted Asian and Afro-Caribbeans, right? Asian and Afro-Caribbeans are at much increased risk of diabetes. Maybe genetic, but in particular, lifestyle.
Type 2 diabetes.
Type 2, which is the one that affects 90-95% of diabetics, yeah? Now, the situation is it's waistline, right? Fat around the middle increases your risk of diabetes. With Asians and Afro-Caribbeans, I mean, for example, Indian men are now 3 times as likely to get diabetes as white people, and black men are twice as likely. So
lifestyle, you can change your diabetes and help your diabetes with lifestyle if it's type 2. It's a whole different ballgame if it's type 1 diabetes.
Type 1 is dependent on insulin treatment, but with type 2, you can actually you can prevent diabetes by having a healthy diet, reducing your fat intake, and exercise, activity. I'm not talking about the gym, just activity. And I mean, there's one guy who wrote a book how he cured his diabetes, and all he did, he changed his diet way it changed his lifestyle.
Yeah,
Chris,
OK, well, thank you very much.
Thank you for that. Some of the health headlines in the papers today. We're going to take a quick break now, but in a few moments, we're going to go live to New York. We're going to be speaking, hopefully, to the woman nicknamed Tanning Mom.
Patricia Krenzel was arrested and charged with endangering her 5-year-old daughter's life when it was alleged she allowed her to use sunbeds. Patricia talks about the case and her own tanning addiction, which apparently now she doesn't use sunbeds anymore. We'll be speaking to her just after this news break. See you in a moment.
Feel closer this summer. Nivea sponsors This Morning.
Cats will love new Whiskas Bite and Chew. Roughly chopped meaty chunks packed into a delicious pate for loads of bite and chew satisfaction.
Sometimes, girls, dieting can get you down. So my advice is to lighten up with Lighter Life Light. Lighter Life Light is different. There's weekly groups and a counsellor who can help you change the way you think about food and help you keep the weight off. With shakes, soups, bars and set meals to help keep you on track. No calorie counting, no points watching and no hassle. Don't make dieting heavy going. Lighten up with Lighter Life Light today.
I get knocked down, but I get up again. You're never gonna keep me down. I get knocked down, but I get up again. You're never gonna keep me down. I get knocked down, but I get up again. You're never gonna keep me down.
National Accident Helpline's legally trained advisors will tell you within minutes if you could make a claim. So don't get treated like an underdog. Call National Accident Helpline on 0800 556 557 or go to underdog.co.uk.
My bolognese sauces are now made with 100% natural ingredients.
That's because a mama's unnatural. When Signora told me all day.
Sunday sees the long-awaited return of Downton Abbey, and to celebrate, the Alan Titchmarsh Show is taking a sneaky peek at the new series today at 3.
Good morning. Andy Murray has become the first British male in 76 years to win a Grand Slam singles title. Murray overcame Novak Djokovic in an epic battle at the US Open final in New York. The Scot won the first 2 sets against the reigning champion, but lost the third and fourth, taking the match into 5 sets. Murray gave his reaction to his historic win.
Relief is probably the best word I would use to describe how I'm feeling just now, and very, very happy that I managed to come through, because if I'd lost this one from 2 sets up, that would have been a tough one to take.
Here, 3 people have been killed and a number seriously injured after a coach crashed overnight in Surrey. The 51-seater hit a tree near a tunnel on the A3 as it was returning to Merseyside after a music festival on the Isle of Wight. And the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge have arrived in Singapore on the first leg of their tour of Asia and the South Pacific. Their first event, an orchid naming ceremony at the Botanic Gardens. The royals viewed the flower named in honour of the late Princess Diana. That's all from me for now. We'll have more on those stories on our lunchtime news. Bye for now.
Beds at Carpetright. Whatever the weather. London weekday weather is sponsored by Carpetright Beds.
Hello, good morning. For the next day or so, things are looking like this. It's going to be mainly fine today, but it is feeling fresher. And then tomorrow it will be damp for a while. First thing in the morning, though, and last thing, it's going to be reasonably dry and bright. Now, this is what the satellite and radar is showing us. Just a short while ago, as you can see, last night's rain pushing away to the southeast, and now reasonably dry and bright. There are some showers up to the north of us. We are at threat perhaps for 1 or 2 up to the northwest of the region. But as I mentioned just now, for the bulk of the day today, things are looking fairly promising. A mainly fine story with some broken cloud and sunny spells. Temperatures up to at around 19 or 20 degrees, but that is tempered by that fairly fresh westerly breeze. Now, overnight tonight, beginning with a fair bit of cloud, but that will gradually melt away throughout the hours of darkness. And with clear skies, we're going to see temperatures falling quite sharply, down to around 7 or 8 degrees, so a bit of a nip in the air for many of us. And then tomorrow morning, a lovely sunny start at first, but gradually we'll see cloud building from the northwest, and that's a precursor to some light and patchy rain that's going to be working its way southeastwards across the region throughout the course of the afternoon. Ultimately, it will clear and things will brighten up very nicely later on. Temperatures struggling a little, highs around 18 degrees Celsius. I'll see you later on.
London Weekday Weather is sponsored by Carpetright Beds.
Taking a look ahead to this afternoon, and the Alan Titchmarsh Show continues its countdown to Downton Abbey at 3. Then Linda Bellingham's been set the challenge of making a picnic for a group of hungry ramblers in My Tasty Travels at 4. But before all of that, it's back to this morning.
Feel closer this summer. Nivea sponsors this morning.
Ain't no mountain high enough. Ain't no river wide enough to stop Phil Vickery from bringing you culinary treats from the far reaches of the planet.
Join me, Phil Vickery, cooking at the ends of the earth.
Welcome back to This Morning. In a few moments, we're going live to New York to speak to Patricia Crentsil. Back in May, she was dubbed Tanning Mom by the world press following her arrest and subsequent child abuse charges after allegedly allowing her 5-year-old daughter to use a sunbed. Today, Patricia talks about that infamous incident and about dealing with her own tanning obsession.
And later, we look at one of this autumn's biggest stars, Baroque. It's going to be big, and Grace Woodward should know. She's judged on Britain's and Ireland's Next Top Model, and she styled for the X Factor.
First, though, let's share some more of your input via Stephen in the Hub.
Well, we mentioned earlier about Gary Barlow banning his acts from using social networking sites during the X Factor live shows, and Victoria Penn agrees with Gary. She says these sites have ended up becoming really awful. For instance, the member of Little Mix last year who was bullied for her weight. The comments were disgusting, but Christina, she disagrees. She says, I don't think they should be banned from using their phones. If they can't handle the pressure of nasty comments, they shouldn't be in the public eye. Now, there's no surprise that loads of you have been sending in loads and loads of comments about Johnny Peacock. Stephen Cartwright says, what an amazing person. We screamed our house down when he won. So inspirational. Can't wait to see him in Rio. And Charlotte Paddock says, he is such an inspiration to my daughter, who, like Johnny, had meningitis. Now I know that she will do anything if I believe in her. Thank you, Johnny. Well, I can tell you, Charlotte, personally, that we showed Johnny your comment, and he said it's words like that that make it all worthwhile. We'll be back in the Hub a bit later with Denise. See you then.
Oh,
Thanks very much indeed. Well, earlier this year, Patricia Crentsil made headlines around the world following allegations that she'd allowed her 5-year-old daughter to use a tanning booth after a school nurse noticed burns on the child's skin.
Charged with second-degree child endangerment, Patricia vehemently denies any wrongdoing and is fighting to clear her name. At the same time, she's also trying to overcome her own tanning addiction, which has been an obsession for most of her life.
Well, Patricia's in our studio in New York, and we're having a little bit of trouble with the link-up, so hopefully this will all work, and we can talk to her now. Good morning, Patricia.
Good morning. How are you today?
We're very well, thank you. Thank you for joining us and getting up so early. That's much appreciated. You've used the word obsessed to describe your love of tanning. When did that start?
When I was about 23.
Okay. And why? What was the attraction?
My friends did it, and so I just went with them, and you know, a little bit of here and there, but I lived down the block from the tanning salon, so it was just some like way to, after I went to the gym, to have fun, and you know, I saw my friends in there and stuff like that. But a lot of people, when you asked why I was upset, you know, because they made a mockery of me, because everybody has, what do you call it? Some form of something they like
an obsession.
Somebody else will jump in and say that's not right, or why are you eating that, or you know, addictions.
Yes.
Or what have you.
So
I like to tan. It was a little break. That's all. but I never put in and I want to emphasize that, in the room. And right now, I'm working with this wonderful woman, Dana, and I just have to, I'm thinking of the website. What?
We'll put the website on
theskinregime.com.
Okay.
No, I want to answer that. It's theskinregime.com. But no, this is important because I'm not tanning anymore. And last night, even in bed, I was thinking about how stupid it really is, actually. So I don't care. But Dana's products are so simple to use.
Well, we
go on the website.